Welcome to Virtual Realms. I'm Ranger One. Today I'm going to do something a little bit different. Yes, we're going back to ARK Survival Evolved. I've been influenced a little bit by the last game I did a few videos on, Jurassic World Evolution. And we're going to start a project here in the sanctuary that I set up in the Hidden Lake area on the island map. I've been making some improvements to it here and there, adding some water features, etc., but I feel like doing something a little bit different. Something, as I said, that was inspired by Jurassic World Evolution. I have, down here at the bottom of this walkway, I have a platform set up that has a great view of this point that sticks out into the ocean and this small lake below it. And I've been wanting to do something with it. So I've been toying around with a few things, and I think I'm going to turn this area into an observation paddock. And I'm going to populate it with creatures that were recently added as skins to ARK. Primarily, I'm going to add the Brachiosaurus, the Styracosaurus, and the Digimoloch to this paddock, along with a few other herbivores to keep things interesting, and a few predators here and there too. I'll tell you the reason why I'm adding the predators is just to keep things lively and interesting. You see, I'm going to do this with a combination of mods. First, I'm going to use simple spawners to spawn in the main dinosaurs that I mentioned, the herbivores. Well, really, I'm going to use them to spawn in everything aside from the indigenous life that already appears in this area. But I wanted everything in this observation paddock to be wild creatures, much like they are in Jurassic World Evolution. See, here in ARK, it's interesting. You put up fences in ARK to keep things out. But in Jurassic World Evolution, you put up fences to keep things in. And I'm not going to do that here because I think those fences would get in the way. I have some Jurassic Park-esque fencing that I could put up, but really it's not necessary. The creatures that I spawn in with the simple spawners will be wild creatures that will tend to stay within a specific radius, so there's no need to clutter up the scenery with Jurassic World type fencing. But I can precisely control the composition and population, hi there buddy, of the creatures that do spawn in that area down below. And my main build that I'm going to be working on are one or two observation points, such as tourists would have in Jurassic World, to view the creatures. That will be the purpose of this build. Nothing's complicated at all. I'm not in the mood to build a whole theme park. I don't have the time for it, and frankly, I don't have the energy for it. But I do have the time and energy to put in a couple of observation points. Something modern looking. One will be right here, built on this platform. It's pretty much perfect, but I can only see about halfway out into that paddock. So I'm thinking also I'll probably end up putting a bridge out to an elevated tower platform out there in the center of everything so that I can see all the animal life going all the way out to the point. Where that Brachiosaur just came into view over to the right in the distance, that's about as far as I can see from here, which is just a little over halfway. Now you can do this using the standard building materials in ARK. You could do this on an official server without any mods whatsoever. I'm going to be using mods like Pimp My Home so I can give these observation points a very modern look, and so I can use the simple spawners mod. You could do the exact same thing though with the standard building materials in ARK, and you could use the skins that just came out to have these same creatures appear. You would just simply have to tame, like the Brachiosaurus skin goes on a Brontosaurus. You would have to tame however many Brontos that you wanted, put out there and put those skins on them. I wanted to do it all with wild creatures though, so thus the mod use. But if you choose to do a similar project of your own, there's no reason why you can't. Mod use is not entirely necessary for this little project. Well, that's enough blathering on from me for right now. I'm going to go ahead and start building now. I'm kind of winging it at this point in time, so there'll be probably a lot of changes in this build midstream. Just bear with me, and we'll see how things turn out. Okay, the basic structure of the initial observation point is done. And I'm just going back now and making a few changes. I want to change how these windows are set up on the second floor. And I'll probably make a quick change to the upper portion of them down below. Instead of one continuous sheet glass, I want two separate sets of windows and the little ducting that they have on there. I kind of like that. So we're going to redo that real quick. But aside from that, all I have left to do in here is to change the texture of the walls. I think I'll make it something very inobtrusive. Put in some lighting and do a little painting here and there. And I'll bring you back in just a second and let you see how everything turned out. Okay, well, I haven't made up my mind yet about what colors I want to paint the ceiling and the floors. For now, I guess it'll do just with the concrete look. But I have decided what we're going to do with the walls up here and down below. I'm going to keep them separate. This area up here, I think, is going to be kind of a luxury level. Nice furnishings, great view, as you can see. The walls are hardwood. And I've installed a doorway because that's going to be critical to the second stage of this build. Leather couches, so on and so forth. Down below it's quite a bit more Spartan. The stone floor, the kind of high-tech but very plain walls. And the view down here is extremely good as well. Not as good as upstairs, but I don't think anyone would complain about being given entry to the common visitors gallery down here. My lighting's all in place. I've kept it dark purposefully up toward the glass, but everything else is dimly but moderately well lit throughout the rest of this little building. Now we've got to worry about this walkway that's going to extend a phenomenal distance out across this paddock. Now, the trick's going to be to make it look inobtrusive yet, if possible, elegant. I think I'll stick with modern components just because there are some nice pillars that come with Pimp My Home that I think look a little bit more substantial than some of the pillars in Vanilla ARK or some of the other mods, and yet will still be relatively inobtrusive, and it'll blend well with the rest of this build so far. And I think I'm going to keep the viewing platform that it extends out to. I think I'm going to keep it relatively small out there, primarily in glass and concrete. And we'll go from there. Hey, we're at a point where we're partway done with this. I've got the walkway and the basic floor plan of the observation platform roughed in. The support for this immensely long walkway has been done with Pillars Plus pillars, although Structures Plus, their adjustable pillars will do this as well. And to make them look normal or functional, I'm going to take a moment and flip them to where they're horizontal, and I'll extend them slightly so that in the end they end up looking like one continuous metal support beam running right down the center of the walkway all the way down. And I think it'll look all right. And then I'll put 2 or 3 more of the concrete pillars somewhere along the span to where it looks reasonably natural and structurally supported. Although I really don't need them to be out there. I want to make it look right. And I don't know, I kind of like the looks of them. I hope you do too. Well, we're kind of having an ongoing issue with rain today. That's all right. We'll maybe jump ahead a little bit here, but I kind of wanted to take a moment and just let you see how it finally turned out, although I still have a few adjustments to make. I think I'm going to reduce the amount of glass that I've used in the ceiling and in the floors by about half. Less is more, as they say, but I did want to let in light and give you a view through the bottom of it as well. And I have some landscaping that I'm going to be doing, but I'll make that the last thing that we do. I've made sure that there's plenty of headroom for the Brachiosauruses to walk under this, and the pillars are certainly spread far enough apart that there won't be any interference with the creatures being able to walk around. The paint job is finished on the main observation point here on the cliff, and well, I think it looks fairly nice. But I'm going to pop out here real quick and We're going to run around and see if we can get done with the rain for a few minutes and take a look at this from ground level. Yay, we have sunlight for a change. All right, let's zoom in from out here in the paddock. Looks like a little fight's going on, so we'll have to watch our step a little bit. That Uranus and that Brachiosaurus are not going to be on very good terms here in just a second. But anyway, as you can see, I think it looks fairly classy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Come on, guys. It's not good. All right. We'll give them a little wider berth. I think it's going to look quite a bit different as soon as I get some trees down below it. As a matter of fact, that should influence how the whole paddock looks, I think. Oh, God, they're coming right for me. Let me get out of here and get back over to a safer area. But that's going to change the look of that whole area considerably. It's going to, I think, fill things in nicely. I'll have to take some care in where I put my trees and how many of them I put in there. I don't want them to become an obstacle more than a beautification or a blending mechanic. But I think it turned out pretty good. Oh, look, the Brachiosaurus won. Yay! Although she appears to have irritated some frogs, so she'll have to deal with them. Okay, I've got the basic landscaping done. Probably have a little bit more to go, but I just had to stop for a second and take in this view. B-grade science fiction horror show giant crab monster takes on Stegosaurus. And why do I have this happening in my little habitat? Well, because that's just how I roll. I wouldn't have it any other way. Well, anyway, oh, Stego died. Well, I'm sure he'll find plenty of other things to go after. I'm going to wrap up this video, finish up my landscaping, maybe take a moment to get a little better view in the process. Oh, and before I forget, my youngest daughter has been out of town for a week. It's going to be about a week and a half, really, before she gets back. And I wanted to take a moment because she usually watches these videos when they come out. So I just wanted to take a moment for a personal and direct message to her. Sweetie, I love you very much and I miss you very much. And I hope you've had a great time on this trip. But I also wanted to say that whatever you're doing right now, you should probably stop because I'm probably going to find out about it. I'm just saying. What? All right, the rest of you, before you end up blowing up my comment section, I want you to think about this. If you're not already, eventually, it's pretty likely that you're going to end up being parents yourselves. And if you can't leverage the fact that you have a YouTube channel to traumatize your children, then what's the point of having one anyway? Besides, her older brother and sister are probably laughing their butts off right about now anyway, so, you know, at least they're on my side. Well, I guess I've inflicted about as much psychological damage as I can, or at least should, in one day. So I'll let you go. And until I see you guys again, take care.